Andrew,
Hello, Mark.
it's just,
It's just derailed the
it's just-
conversation.
It has. So, for everyone watching or listening before we started doing this, so we do in and outs for every guest where we sort of talk a little bit about who they are. But
Yeah.
I think tonight's one has kind of devolved quite
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah. Well, when you've got, your own voice streaming into your ears, it's pretty easy to get a bit carried away.
You can, you can do things like I lean into the microphone. Man, Holly Duda Joy. Wow.
No, she was very interesting. I didn't actually know what she was about until she got here, so did a quick recce on Instagram and stuff, and was like, okay, dancer, cool.
Yeah, and I mean that was, I kind of knew a little bit about her because obviously I see the pre-interview forms, but
Yeah.
man, she's. It was funny because when we were talking beforehand, before we came into the studio, she was like, my life, and I was like, oh, no, it's fine, it's cool. We'll have a chat, and it'll be really, really cool.
Yeah.
And it's been. I think that's one of the cool things is everyone's conversation that we've had has been really, really different.
Yeah.
And her life has been like dance from 10 up until where she is now.
Yeah. Albeit
and-
different locations, but
Yeah, different locations, so many different styles as well. And then she's been able to sort of do that really seamless transition from performer to teacher.
Yeah.
Educator, mentor, trainer.
Yeah.
Which I found was really, really cool. And she speaks with such passion as well.
Yeah, for sure. And she has a lot of passion for her students.
She does.
Like, she spoke very highly of all of them. So, she talked about how community and how it's community driven as well, which is really cool to hear.
I really liked hearing that she's, she tells a wonderful story near the end about, her love for her kids, whether they be in lessons now or having progressed on their life.
Yeah. She always got time for them.
Yeah, extended family.
Yeah, that was what she said.
And I was like, man, this is amazing. And it was just really refreshing.
Yeah.
To actually have another one of these really open conversations with people.
Yeah.
And I think as a whole, I think everyone that we've talked with, I think we've been very lucky.
Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, it's quite cool to sit here and, like, obviously I'm behind the cameras, but just to sit there and kind of partake in the conversation as a listener as well, and really listen to a lot of the, I guess, inspiration. I always talk about inspiration, but it fascinates me how it all kind of comes together.
Yeah, so for me, it was really, really nice. She'd been out, she'd done her creativity sort of the whole way through, and that was really cool. We'll talk about it a bit. We'll talk about it at the end. There's one hilarious part that I just, as soon as she said it, I couldn't stop laughing. But on that note, let's sit down and have a conversation with Holly Duda Joy. Holly. Hello. Thank you very much for joining us in the Five Elements Media studio to sit down with us and take part in the Northland Artists Conversations. Absolutely lovely to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for being so cool about everything, because we reached out to you a little while ago, didn't we?
Yeah, probably a couple of months ago.
Yeah. And then just sort of one thing led to another.
Yeah.
Man, was it really a couple of months ago?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, here we are then.
Yeah, it was just finding a date that worked.
Yeah. Yeah, that's man. So I think since we've started this, that's kind of been the big thing with everything is that we're starting to get booked up. I think we're booked up currently until around end of September, which is it's a good amount of time in advance. So welcome again, thank you. So a bit of general information about you. You Whangarei Academy of Dance and Performing Arts. That's you. Is that your what you do?
Yeah, it's my business. Yeah. I've owned the studio for I think about 8 years now myself, but the studio itself has actually been running in Whangarei for 40 odd years. This
Wow.
is our,
Wow.
Yeah, this is our 40th show this year, coming up in December. But the actual studio has been going for about 44 years or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, before I took over. So
Yeah, okay. Now, your background is in dance.
Yes.
Now, dance, much like music, is very broad in scope. Do you sort of have any specialty areas that you kind of sit in? Contemporary, jazz, ballet,
Yeah, definitely.
Latin?
Yeah. So the studio, we do everything. We teach pretty much everything except hip hop, ballet, tap, jazz, lyrical, all of those things. But my specialty probably lies in tap.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I can still tap really, really well. Like I could tap all my dancers under the table. I tell them that every lesson. But everything else, I'm too old now to roll around on the floor and do the splits. And so I just tell them what to do for that. So yeah, I still teach all the other classes, still quite happily teach them. But probably my specialty is tap, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I see. What is it? Is it the film Harlem Nights with Gregory Hines?
I don't know. I don't think I've heard of it.
Man, I remember as a kid, the Muppet Show, and watching, I think, Gregory Hines, who was an African-American tap dancer, absolute legend, and you know that's sort of where I learned about tap, but I don't really know. There was another well-known tap gentleman, Mikhail, I want to say Baryshnikov, but I don't know.
I don't know. I don't
It's
know
not
him.
not Gorbachev.
No, definitely not him.
Definitely not.
Obviously you've got like Eugene Kelly and
Yes.
Fred Astaire, you know,
Yes.
those are your OGs, and then you're going through the years, it's kind of evolved and changed, and you've got like Tap Dogs and, you know, Stomp, where they use their percussion work, and they
Saw Stomp in Auckland.
Yeah, so you've got, it kind of has changed through the years, but tap probably isn't the most popular subject at the moment, but it does make a comeback every few years. It kind of gets a bit more, it's really hard. That's why it gets really tricky and really hard, and the kids sometimes don't want to do that hard stuff. So they jump in, they jump out, it changes. So
I think I read recently they're doing a Fred Astaire biopic with Tom Holland.
Nice. Yeah, I could see him doing that.
Yeah.
Because he did that lip sync thing, didn't he?
He
And
did.
he did that part.
He
Yeah.
did Singing in the Rain before transitioning into Rihanna's Umbrella, which was amazing.
Yes.
I saw that and I thought, that's good representation.
Yeah,
bit of tap, bit of contemporary as well.
Yeah, he'll be good at that.
He will.
Yeah.
Now obviously your accent, you're not from New Zealand.
No.
Where are you from?
So I was brought up in Poole in Dorset in the UK.
Yes.
And I left there when I was 18.
Okay.
Went on my OE, met my husband here, and then we lived in the UK for about 7 years, and then we moved back here end of 2006, so long time ago.
So that's what, 16 years ago?
Yeah, so we've been together for a long time, and we moved here, bought a house here, had children, and all the things you do when you so, and then I took over the studio, and I've been here, so I'm a citizen here now. So
nice.
Got my citizenship, and this is home. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your journey through dance. Have you always been in tap, or did you kind of work your way into it?
Good question. I was a very late starter of dance, actually. I didn't start dancing till I was about 11. For dancers, that's quite late.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, that's late.
No.
Okay, I was like 11.
Yeah, no,
late.
that's quite late for dance. So,
okay.
It is quite late for dance. And I only started because my sister was going, and Mum was like, well, do you want to go? And I said, okay, I'll give it a go. And naturally, rhythm-wise, I had really good timing and rhythm, which you need for tap. So I started with tap, and then I ended up adding everything. So jazz, ballet, lyrical, contemporary, did everything. So I never really thought I was gonna own a dance school or anything. Like, I just did it because I loved it.
That begs the question. And if you didn't see yourself owning a dance school, where did you actually see yourself going with dance?
I don't know. I just loved doing it and knew that was kind of where my heart was. And so I danced my whole life, and then did my OE, went back to the UK and end up doing a BTEC diploma in dance at college, alongside my teaching and examining qualifications at my dance school. So I did dance was just all consuming a little bit. And then I kind of did a bit of freelance teaching and teaching all over the place and teaching everybody. And then when we moved here, I connected with a school here in Whangarei, the one that I now own. The lady that owned it, she taught the same syllabus that I studied and taught in the UK. So,
wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of how I connected with her. And I knew we were coming to Whangarei. So, yeah, reached out to the syllabus owners and just asked if there was any schools here. And that's how I got in touch with her and came here and started teaching kind of her tap stuff because she didn't do much tap, and all her senior stuff because I've been doing that in the UK. So I knew all the work. And then, yeah, just ended up kind of teaching 2-3 nights of the week, and we transitioned into partnership, and then I transitioned into taking over. So that's kind of how it worked. It wasn't really an intentional, like, this is what I'm going to do. This is me. I'm going to be a business owner. I kind of just fell into it in a roundabout way. Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so 11-year-old you.
Yeah.
Going to tap classes for the first time.
Yeah.
And you're there. Your sister's, your older sister?
My younger sister, yeah.
Wow, younger sister.
Yeah.
Okay. So your younger sister's there. What are your thoughts when you're sort of learning the basic structure and moves and steps of tap?
Well, I always found it really easy because I could hear the rhythm and hear the timing. So my teacher loved me, which was great. Everybody loves it when the teacher loves them, don't they?
Yes, they do.
And because I was a bit older, so I kind of understood things a bit better. And yeah, so it made it easy. But I was with my sister in my class with my sister, which was not good because we fought like so bad.
Okay, right.
Yeah. Lots. And my little brother also danced. So my mum had 4 children, 3 of us danced. So my mum used to make all the costumes for the dance school to pay for our fees to send us to dance. So it was kind of a family affair, really.
Yeah.
It was, we kind of that's how we grew up. And my mum and dad, like my brother's a plumber, my sister works in accounts, and I'm actually a dancer. I used it.
Yeah.
But mum said it was the best money she ever spent because it kept us off the streets.
Yes.
And it kept us busy. And she, to this day, swears that it was the best money she ever spent on us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because, back then, I make that sound really old, but it's not.
No.
It's back in the day. But, you much like today where you've got, you've got the youth that sort of have some of them have the propensity to go out and just roam the streets or get up to all kinds of chaos and mischief. So I'm guessing Mum looked at it as like, well, they're going to be too busy and too knackered to do anything else. Yeah. Let's just keep them there.
Yeah, that was exactly right. Exactly the same here as it was back in the UK, you could quite easily get into trouble. So Mum was quite happy keeping us busy. Yeah.
So all of your schooling was done in Poole?
Yeah, a little tiny village called Corfmullen. It's actually the largest village in the UK. Well, it was. Don't know if it still is now.
Largest village
in the UK.
Right, yeah.
I know. Everyone laughs at me when I tell them that. Tiny little place. It's about 20-25 minutes from the beach.
Okay.
Beautiful area of the UK.
Where is that
centred
on the map?
South Coast, right on the middle of the South Coast.
Okay.
Yeah, so about an hour and a half from London. Hour 45.
I'm sure one of the guys will put a map up.
Yeah, tiny
somewhere around there.
place.
Yeah, Rocky's raising his eyebrows, going, we'll find it.
Yeah.
That's cool. And you went to school there kind of the whole time.
Yep. Yeah, I did.
So just sort of
my schooling was there.
Primary. Was it primary, intermediate, and
kind of. It's not called that. First school, secondary school, and then high school.
Okay,
upper school.
Right.
Yeah.
Upper school. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you finish upper school. You're 17, 18.
Yeah. Same as her. Yeah.
And then.
So you either go to uni, which I didn't do.
Okay.
Or I did my OE when I was 18, which is a bit weird, really. Most people kind of wait till after uni, but I
had a gap year.
Well, kinda. I went to a summer school up in London.
Okay,
and did like an audition for a dance school, like to do further education, like full time in London. and it was successful in the audition, but we couldn't fund it. My parents didn't have the money to send me.
Okay.
So I was
scholarships
kind
or
of
anything like that?
No, there was nothing available at the time.
Oh, dumb.
It's kind of, yeah, I know. So it kind of was like, what do I do? Where shall I go? You know. So I knew my friends were traveling, and so I was like, oh, maybe I'll take a year out, figure it out, and go back. And then I met my hubby.
So literally, you were like, I'm going to find somewhere. New Zealand seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
And then came here. Is your husband from Whangarei?
Yeah, no, he's from Dargaville.
Right, Dargaville.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know, small world.
It is.
Yeah.
And how long were you in New Zealand for? Was it a gap
year?
Was it like gap 3 years?
No, it's just it was about 10 months actually. I did like Asia, I did Australia, the whole of Australia, I did New Zealand, and then I did the Pacific, and then America, and then I went home. So
wow.
Yeah, it was pretty big at the time because it wasn't really, like it was before. Well, you had mobile phones, but we didn't have them like they are now. We used to have to buy phone cards and phone our mums once a week on the phone card, and it would run out in 5 minutes. And, internet was at the internet cafe once a week if you were lucky.
I remember those days.
It was those days.
Yeah.
All my photos were on actual cameras. And,
with film?
With film.
Film, yes.
Actual photos that you print,
Yeah.
So that was, and I had my CD Walkman with me, and I tell my kids and they laugh. That was my OE. So that was in
Can relate to
99, 2000. So I was in Sydney for the year 2000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which was pretty epic. So, so I hadn't met Hubby. I met Hubby in the April 2000.
Okay, yeah. So you're in Sydney for the big 2000 Harbour Bridge, all the fireworks
in Sydney
going
and
off.
Things. Yeah, and then made my way here. So
in that 10 months, are you still doing much dancing at all, or is that kind of all on the back burner for you?
Yeah, just took a year out. Just figuring out what I was going to do. Yeah.
Okay, obviously a good opportunity as well. If you're doing sort of that much travelling as well, and then you and your hubby connect, and then it's back to the UK.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep. So he came over there.
Yep.
Got a visa. His nan was English, and actually, this is even weirder. She was born and christened in the church in my village.
Stop it.
I know. How weird is that? Yeah. So all his ancestors are actually from Devon. So yeah, crazy, which is, the county next to where I'm from. So
that's hilarious. Yeah, what are the odds of that happening?
I know, small world, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we lived over there for about 7 years.
Okay.
But just getting going in the UK. I mean, back then it was really hard to get housing, and houses were really expensive.
Okay.
Outside of London, it's probably the most expensive area of the UK. So for us, it was right to come here and know that we were going to get a 3-bedroom house if we were going to start a family.
Yeah.
So we came here, and that's what we did. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so you're living outside of London, or you were living in London?
No, outside of London.
Outside of London.
Yeah.
And you fire up the dancing again.
Yep.
You do.
Yep.
Teaching or studying?
Both.
Or both?
Yeah,
wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Teaching, studying. Performing still.
Yeah.
I performed the night before I left New Zealand in England in 2006. So
wow.
Literally did a show and flew out the next day. So yeah, and then switched to just teaching when I got here. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just about to say, have you done much performing since you've been in New Zealand?
Just teaching mostly. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Examining. I do a bit of examining as well, and adjudicating things. So yeah.
Right. Okay. So you're sort of the one that sits down with the dance comps and then goes through the scorecards.
Yeah. Reviews and gives feedback. And yeah. I did that last weekend actually.
Really?
Yeah. Down in the Waikato. Yeah.
Okay. So you sort of, it's not just Northland. You kind of you go around the country.
Yeah. When I first moved here, I'd tour around maybe for a couple of weeks, examining all the different schools in the different areas.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, but I kind of cut back on that a little bit as my kids got a bit older.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah. So, and now I just adjudicate a few comps. Maybe 1 or 2 a year. I'm quite selective on which ones I do.
Yeah, very
my time's really precious.
Yes, I value my time, and also, sometimes you don't really want to leave.
Yeah.
You're like, I like my bed.
Yes.
I like my routine.
Exactly. I love my weekend.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, so you're in New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
You've danced your ass off the night before.
Mm-hmm.
Catch your flight. You move over here.
Mm-hmm.
That's 16 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Straight to Whangarei?
No, lived in Dargaville till we bought our house in the March, so December, 4 months.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
Not too long.
So, living in Dargaville for a bit, and then picking up your, and then sort of picking up your property over here.
Mm-hmm.
Working or just dancing, or has dancing become work?
Yeah,
or
at that point I wasn't working. I did get a job when we moved to Whangarei.
Yes.
I've kind of done all sorts of different jobs, to be honest.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, no. When I first came here, I was working at Girls High as the, what's the word? They were in the technology department. I was like the go-to girl. I'd set the sewing machines up and sort all the food area out and do all the, basically
like
was
a
just
prep,
like,
prep
like,
person.
just
okay.
the person that they needed
Yep.
the things done, and I
Mm-hmm.
would do it. I did actually cover quite a few dance classes at the school, because then they realised I was a dance teacher and were quite keen on me covering.
Yeah.
And so I did a bit of that when I was there, and then I had my children, so things kind of cut back a bit more.
Yes.
But I still taught all the way through, so I still taught for WADPA. Yeah.
Wow.
Even when I had the kids.
Yep. Do the kids dance?
Yep. Well, so I've got twin boys.
Yes.
And I've got a daughter who's 14, so my daughter still dances.
Mm-hmm.
She's there now. And my boys stopped this year because they're really into football, soccer.
Right. Yes.
And it just clashes. They're very high, like they're trying to get to rep level, and it's just too much trying to do it all. So,
Yep.
Yeah. So they have done it though. They did tap right up till the end of last year. So.
And your daughter does tap as well?
Yeah, she does tap, ballet, jazz. No, she doesn't do ballet. She did do tap. She's doing acro, jazz, contemporary, and performance groups. So she does like group performances and competitions.
Please excuse my ignorance. What is acro?
Acrobatics. So a bit like gymnastics, but more dance based.
Right.
She's actually really good at that. She's really bendy. It's like contortionist, you know?
It's like Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah,
type
kind
stuff?
of that stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
And aerially kind of stuff. Yeah, like bending.
on the big
yeah, on the hoops and
yes.
the things. Yeah.
Oh, that's stuff you see at a Pink concert.
Yeah, that stuff.
I always associate that stuff. So that's acrobatics. Wow.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. It's kind of a sideline of acrobatics, yeah.
That's amazing. Okay.
Yeah, so she does more of that. She's really good at that. She's very bendy. I wasn't bendy. I don't know where she gets that from.
Who dad?
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
So that's very cool. So you have your kids, and you decide to sort of scale back on the work and the teaching and stuff like that. So throw yourself into that. When do you sort of start re-emerging and going, oh, actually, I quite like to get into this a little bit more than what I had been?
So when I had my daughter, I kind of scaled back a bit. I was teaching maybe 1 or 2 nights of the week, and then got back into it. There's only a couple of years between my daughter and my twins. So
Sure, right.
And then when I had the twins, I just was teaching and I just carried on, really. I literally had like a week off when I had them. I was tapping up until I had them.
Yeah.
Like I was dancing right up until I had them. So yeah, I just got into it and just carried straight on. It was only a couple of nights of the week, so
Okay.
it was before I owned the studio and the business side of things. So that's probably more consuming than the actual teaching side of it in the evenings. Yeah.
We were talking before.
Yeah.
Just knocking out all the emails that have kind of come through and all
exactly.
the admin
All
paperwork.
the admin side. Yeah, that's more consuming than the actual teaching in the evening. So yeah, that is before that. So
Yeah.
it makes it easier.
I have a really good question for you because a bit of my background is I was a touring musician for 7 years, and I also managed the band as well. How do you think art and commerce go together? Because obviously you've been a performer, you're now a business owner.
Yeah, well, I kind of feel everyone says to me, like, how do you do it? And I never went to uni, so I never did like a business degree or anything. I kind of just learnt as I've gone,
Okay.
which has been okay. You just kind of immerse yourself in it and get through and somehow make it out the other side.
Yeah.
That's sometimes I feel like I'm not gonna get to the top, and but other times it's good. Like, it depends on the time of the year as well, how busy you are, and with everything else, if it was just your business you were focusing on, like everything in life, it would be much easier, wouldn't it? If you didn't have children and family to sort and a house to, like all those things. If you didn't
day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, if you could take that away, then fine. But it's everything involved in that makes it harder, but it's fine. It's doable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sort of how much time do you sort of devote to the business stuff at the moment versus the teaching stuff? Because, I mean, for me, if I had the opportunity to do this full time, I'd love to. It would be amazing. But then I also do a lot of the admin and stuff like that as well.
At the moment, well, especially these last couple of years, obviously it's been really, really tough for everybody.
Yes.
Us included. It's been super tough. And for the arts, it's been crazy.
Yeah.
So at the moment, being a business owner is really, really hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say it's been easy. It really hasn't, and it's still not easy.
Yeah.
And I think we're just kind of seeing the follow through from everything that's happened the last couple of years is kind of hitting us hard now. But it's still, it does take the enjoyment away from it sometimes when you're constantly worried about the business side of things. It makes it hard to enjoy the performance side of that, the reason you're there. Yeah.
And we've sort of, as we've had these conversations, we've sort of talked with some artists have found inspiration over the last 2 years, especially with lockdowns, for example. Some artists have been, they've had to sort of totally redo how their business works, because the model they used to have no longer works. They've got to figure things out. Have you guys sort of had to look for new
100%
ways to make your business work?
I mean, it was tough. We did all online learning during lockdown, and that was super tough. The kids found it tough, and I know for a fact I did. But it was a means to the end. It was great to get back in the studio, and we were lucky that we were able to get back pretty quickly. But the whole mandating thing this year has been really tough on the studio as well. It's been a tough couple of years, but it's been the same for everybody in every profession. And you just kind of remember that when you're doing it tough, when you feel like it's just you're like, actually, it's not just me. It's not just me, but it can be tough.
Northland Artists Conversation is proud to support 116. 116 are located on Bank Street in Whangarei, and an amazing venue that you can actually hire. If you're looking to hold an event or looking to hire a venue for a special occasion, 116 on Bank Street are an absolutely fantastic place. You can simply contact them via email off their website or through Facebook as well. 116 have had such amazing events in the past as the Whangarei Fringe Festival, and they've also held the Plunge pop culture convention there as well. They also have local artists that also put performances on, as well as incoming artists that come into the region as well and want to be able to do things like have plays or perform music or any of those sorts of cool things. 116 are also home to the amazing Beagle radio station as well, which is a local initiative that is all set up with some very, very talented people that actually love what they do, and they do it all for free. So it's very, very cool. So 116 on Bank Street, proudly supported by the Northland Artists Conversation. So you've had this wonderful opportunity to sort of transition from being a performer to a teacher, and you've obviously been able to sort of influence a large group of kids, not only in Northland but also around the country, because you get to examine them as well, right? Where is your biggest joy in terms of dancing?
Good question.
What gives you the most satisfaction?
Okay, a massive highlight for me this year was going back to the UK. I went home to see my dad, and one of my dancers that grew up with me, who I taught quite a few years when I was living in the UK. Went off to college, did her thing, travelled around. She's now performing in the West End. And
really?
Yeah, so
Wow.
she has been for quite a few years, but I've never managed to coordinate it when I'm home, her being in the right kind of place at the right time. And this year she was in Cinderella, the Andrew Lloyd Webber version of Cinderella.
Yes.
Yeah, so I went up to London and I saw her perform, and she was one of the stepsisters in Cinderella.
Oh my goodness.
And that was a very surreal and proud moment, because I taught her a lot of her stuff, you know, up until she left for full-time college. So yeah, that was a very good big highlight for me.
Wow,
yeah,
how
that
cool!
Was this year.
Because that's not a small part.
No, it's pretty epic.
Those are like, you know, they're sort of near the top of the call sheet. Impressive. Wow.
Yeah. So she's got a massive repertoire to her name. From traveling all over the world, but also on the West End and traveling Europe with different shows. Yeah, she's been in lots of different shows.
Oh, what an amazing sense of satisfaction you get from that. Going, I helped that person get to where they are.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because often as a teacher, you can be influential and help students grow. It doesn't kind of always work out like that.
Yeah.
I remember my maths teacher was a dick. I digress. But see, for me, my drama teacher was a huge influence in my life.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think the last time I went to Gisborne, because that's where I'm from, I always make a point to go and catch up with him and just say, hey, look, thank you. Because, you know, he set me off on my dramatic path. So I imagine for you seeing her.
Yeah. I mean, I have that with quite a few of my students, to be fair. I'm really lucky. I've got students that I taught when I first came here. You know, I caught up with one this year who's just got a contract on Allure of the Seas, which is one of the massive cruise ships.
Oh, wow.
And she's in 2 shows on that. She's finally got her dream contract.
Yeah.
And she popped home to New Zealand to get her visa sorted to head over to the States. And she messaged me and we called up for breakfast and, you know, told me all about it. So, yeah. And I had another student over just last weekend, actually, from the Gold Coast. She was working and she studies full-time over there, but she was a huge part of my teaching years. And, caught up with her a bit. So, yeah, no, I have them kind of all over the place that, you know, they do come back when they need me as well, which is so good. Yeah.
How amazing.
Yeah, I'm really lucky. It's like an extended family almost.
Yeah, because, you know, no matter where you are in the world, you know, you can go, students there and students there, and they're doing these cool things. Yeah, and I mean, the students that I have here that have kind of moved on, that were here, were a big part of my kids' lives as well. So, you know, almost like sisters and extra aunties, and, you know, their parents became family friends, and they still are, you know, they would still be there in a heartbeat for my kids if I needed them as well. So, yeah, I'm really lucky. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. With creatives, you sometimes run into that old saying, those that can't do teach, right?
Yeah.
But let's look at that for just a moment. Do you think that you were probably always destined to end up as a teacher?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. You have to be exceptional to be performance-wise. And just because you're an amazing performer doesn't make you an amazing teacher. So everybody's different.
Lordy,
you know?
no.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, exactly that. So I think, I have a really good, like, I don't know, I really love that kind of, that 5-year-old age and teaching and influencing that age group. I teach kids from about 2.5, so I have a preschool class, which I love too. But my probably my favourite age would be like that 5, 6, 7-year-olds. Yeah. When they're, I don't know, I'm not 100% sure. I think it's they're just kind of getting started and they're just so enthusiastic. They love it and they just lap up everything you say. Yeah. And I mean, I'm one of those old school teachers, you know, I would tell them something, you know, I'd try and persuade them it was my 5th birthday and they'd all believe me, you know. Yeah. And I'd, you know, just little silly things and I just connect with them really well. I love that age group. Yeah. Yeah, definitely my I'd say favourite. That's not very fair, is it? I
No,
do teach all different ages, but probably
preferred.
preferred. Yeah, I really love their attitude and their love for life. You know, most of them are there because they want to dance. You know, they're not, you know, at school, or it's not like a school. You know, they're there because they've chosen to do that, and mum's paying for them to do that, so they want to be there majority of the time. And it is just sharing the love of kind of what we do, and I really love that age group. So
with the you know, kids at that age, they're just absolute sponges, and then, you know, they haven't really been affected by too much of the outside world, so they're very impressionable, and they're very open to you know, positive suggestion and stuff like that, which I think is really cool. Definitely, you know, a sort of a good time to. I can see why you were saying earlier you started later at 11. That makes sense, because if you've got kids that are in like preschool that are learning, and then if you're sort of teaching that sort of 5-year-old, that earlier statement from yourself about saying you started late kind of makes a lot of sense.
Because my youngest classes are 2.5, so
Oh wow.
Which are great. They're great.
So how long would those classes go for?
They're only half-hour classes.
Yes. Short attention span?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. All our junior classes are 30-minute classes. That you cannot get more out of them than 30 minutes. 30 minutes is pretty limit.
Sort of right on the money.
Yeah.
It's like 32. Now I've lost you.
Yeah. Exactly that. Exactly. Yeah. They're pretty good for half an hour though.
Awesome. Now I'm guessing you guys, I'll take an educated guess here. You sort of do like a group performance once a year?
We do.
Do you do that sort of, or is it individualised performances?
No, we do. Well, we do a bit of everything really. So kind of this time of the year is we're gearing up for exams. So we'll have exams in September.
Right.
So that's just at the moment because of COVID. It's been more for our senior kids because it's been over Zoom. Makes it too difficult for the little ones. So we've held them back. And then we do competitions. So competitions is all either group based if they're picked. So it's audition only for our groups. And they'll take part in all the group competitions, which are on at the moment. Every other weekend it feels like, all over the place. So they'll do solo performances but also group stuff, and we work towards our end of year show, which is beginning of December. So we didn't get to do it last year because of COVID.
No, of course not.
So we never had our show, which is the first one in 40 years.
I was going to say, did you do one the year before?
We did in 2020.
Wow.
We did.
Okay.
We did in 2020, and then obviously the world changed here just as it had in the rest of the world.
Yes.
And we had to cancel it. We postponed till April and we still couldn't do it. So we ended up cancelling, which was really, first time in 40 years, I think.
Far out.
Yeah.
The shows themselves, are they like, tell me about the shows. They, is it like themed? Is it excerpts from shows? What does it sort of look like?
So every single class within the school does a dance in the show.
Right.
So at the moment, I think we have close to about 45 classes. So
that's a lot of classes.
Yeah, and a lot of dances. So
that's a lot of dances.
Everybody gets to do a performance in the show.
Yeah.
And that's our philosophy. Everybody that's enrolled in the studio gets to perform in the show. And it's a big effort, obviously, but it's also a massive reward. It's the highlight of the year for majority of the kids and the performers. Yeah, it's really, really cool. And we put it on at the theatre, and we do really amazing lighting and costuming.
Oh, wow.
It's a pretty big event. I'm very pro giving them the most professional experience as I can.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't just want to throw them on stage, looking not great. So we work them hard because I do it like I expect the best. I expect them to try their best and do the best they can.
Yep.
And also for the show to look as good as it can. So yeah, it's definitely a highlight of the year for us. So we didn't get to do it last year, so this year's even bigger and more exciting, and it's our 40th show. So we're doing a bit of a celebration this year. We're doing a look back at the old shows, and we're picking old dances.
Really?
So we're doing all our highlights. So a lot of my teachers at the studio were ex-dancers at the studio, so I taught them when I kind of first came all the way through. So between them and myself, we're picking like all the dances that we loved.
Yeah.
And we're using all the old dances, so it's going to be really cool.
Because I mean, you've got 40 years worth of information there, and that's, you can actually, I don't know why, I'll be honest, in my head I was like going, man, you're going to go back to the 1950s and 40s, and I went 40 years ago. No, that's 1980. Shit, I'm old.
It's not that far ago.
It's not that long ago.
No.
It's like, wow. Okay, so I mean, you guys get to draw on all of these sorts of different styles and influences. Will it be like a showcase extravaganza
Pretty
type
much,
thing?
yeah. So obviously it showcases every style of dance that we teach.
Yeah.
And then and the costuming, it's really, really cool, and it's definitely a show that it would suit everybody. If they wanted to come and watch it, you would enjoy.
Will there be big shoulder pads from the 80s?
I don't know, actually. Vogue, I think we're doing
huge shoulder pads.
I don't know about that. Maybe someone in the audience, who knows?
Yeah, possibly. Oh, that sounds like it would be an absolute blast, and I guess for the kids as well, kind of gives them like a really good glimpse at what a professional setup is like. So if they go, they can go, "Ooh, this, I quite like this," or they go, "Actually, it's not for me."
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. So this weekend coming, actually, this Saturday, we've got a concert on. We've got 2 concerts on at the Forum North as fundraisers.
Yes.
So all the tickets are sold. And then all the proceeds go towards our end of year show, just help towards the cost of lighting and costuming.
Where can people find those tickets?
So if they do want a ticket, then they just need to email me at holly@wadpadance.nz. And just flick me an email and I can sort them.
And how many tickets are there available? And how are the sales going?
No, they're okay.
Yep.
Down from normal, but then it is the week before, and a lot of people leave things to the last minute. Yep. So that's okay.
Door sales available as well?
Yes, absolutely. If we have any left, yes, absolutely. Adult tickets are $10, children are $5, so it's nice and cheap, and it's definitely a show for everybody. It just showcases all the kids' hard work that they've done over the last 2 terms. So
that's very
in
cool.
Class. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I don't know which camera to look at. Just go on, like we're going to put something. We will. Andrew's giving me the eyebrows saying, yeah, that's all good. Yes, 100%. No, what a great cause.
Yeah.
And then obviously December's the big showcase, the big finale, the big end of year blowout. And then is it a little bit of a break? And then you come back to it?
Absolutely. Yes, we have summer off, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's very
very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, so I have December, January off. I say off, but we usually end up doing summer school and a million other things. But technically off, and then we come back usually early February when schools go back.
Nice. Okay, so it sort of quite lines up with the school sort of system normally as well.
Yeah.
Do you have students that will do like multiple disciplines?
Yeah. Multiple children do that. Yeah.
Is that quite? I was just about to say, is that quite a common thing?
Yeah. Usually they'll start with one.
Okay.
Then if they find they love it, they'll add another, and then they'll add another, and then they'll add another.
So it's the gateway.
Yeah, absolutely.
They find one and they go, oh, I don't mind this.
Yeah.
And then they kind of branch out into some of the other stuff.
And that was one of the reasons a couple of years ago we started a scholarship fund at the studio. So we have a
nice.
Yeah. The first year we had a $10,000 scholarship fund. So everybody within the school, as long as they're enrolled in the school or they continue to enroll, are eligible to apply.
Yes.
And basically, if the children, depending on their age, obviously, they apply themselves, and they just tell us why they deserve a scholarship. And at the end of
that's it.
Pretty much it. So we helped. I think the first year we helped, about 25 kids. Second year the same, and then this year, probably the same again. Actually, this is we had a little bit less money to give away this year. Just our donations weren't as much with everything, which is understandable.
Understandable.
But close to 10,000 each year. We've been very lucky. So
that's incredibly lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, but very cool as well, because you'll have some families that are like, well, my kids, my child or children want to dance, but they may be financially constrained, for example.
Exactly. Okay. And I find that myself with having twins. It's 2 of them always to pay for.
Yes.
Everything's in 2. So. I get it. Like, I do get it. So, we try and give as many kids and try and give it to as many as we can to allow people the opportunity to do as much as they can. So
that's very cool.
Yeah, definitely. I just think, you know, things shouldn't be done just out of pure money. You know, kids should be able to experience things because they want to, not just because they can afford to. So it's really unfortunate the kind of world we live in.
It is,
and it just comes down to that.
Yeah, and I imagine for some people in sort of a lower socioeconomic area as well, you know, those kids might go to school and they might be like, I'd really like to learn dance, and then, you know, they're just not in that position. But that's not. That shouldn't be
a barrier for
exactly. You know, it's not their fault.
No, and those are the kids that do get the scholarships. You know, we have offered them to children that have not actually been enrolled with us. That plan to enroll with us that can't afford to.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so we've had a few like that, and then a few that, you know, do every discipline under the sun that just absolutely love it. Been with us forever.
Yeah.
You know, they also deserve it. So, it's sharing it out and sharing it amongst everyone. That's the hardest job ever. It's picking the...
Oh, actually going through that selection process?
People, the board of people that do it, because it's super hard. But I'd give everyone one if I could.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, money for you.
Yeah, here
money
we go.
For you.
Have a free class.
Money for you.
Exactly. Yeah, so, yeah, it's been amazing.
So, where the company... dance company, where you're at the moment, what are the long-term plans?
It was a good question as well. I hate it
when people three times in one interview.
I know, when someone says to me,
I don't get it that often.
What's your 5-year plan? I'm like, I don't know.
to still be open.
Yeah, to still be. I mean, who would have planned for the last 2 years? Nobody.
Hell no,
so
no one.
No, exactly. So who knows what the world's going to throw at us? The plan is to still be teaching, still have WADPA going, whether that's with me or with, you know, younger teachers that are coming through and coming up. You know, the plan is to still have WADPA. So, you know, within Northland, hoping that that's still the case. Yeah.
Will the God, I don't even know how to ask the question. Will the number of disciplines open up? Is that kind of something that you'd like to explore as well? Because you said no hip hop.
No, we don't teach hip hop. We don't do hip hop because I never did hip hop growing up.
Right.
So why would you teach something that you don't know? I've tried a couple of times bringing people in, but we have such a good hip hop school here in Whangarei already.
Okay.
Hardcore. I can tell you who they are. Hardcore dance company, Annalise. Amazing. Like, and there's no point me trying to go down that road when we have such good people here already. So go Annalise. I send everybody, if they want to do hip hop, to her. And she's fantastic. So yeah, there's no reason for us to kind of go down that road. With regards to like Latin American and ballroom, that it's not really what we offer. So it's never it's very different to what we do. I've done a little bit of it, but there's a big ballroom school here in Whangarei already, so that's okay. So
really?
Yeah, down in Dent Street. So
did not know that.
Yeah, so yeah, there's people do what they're, you know, I think there's a place for everybody.
Yes.
Especially within the creatives. I just wish people would get on and not think that everyone's out to get them. You know, I just think, I believe that there's a place for all of us.
Yeah. And
we've all got our role within that society and within our community that we offer, and what people don't like about me might like about someone else, and vice versa. So, you know, that's okay.
You should all be able to coexist in your own segments.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, even if they offer the same as me, you know, there's no reason why we can't get on. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, kids might relate to a different tutoring style than another style.
That.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, just like everyone's got their own teaching style, and you know, with kids, they often connect with one style over another. So.
Exactly that.
No, that's very cool. Wow. So with, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I'm going to get it wrong, and I don't want to. WADPA. 40 years, or 40 something years.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna. Are you gonna hang on to it long term, or is there gonna come a time where you're like, you know what, I'm kind of good?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the plan is to carry on at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows what's around the corner? I mean, I've had my children, so that's not around the corner now. and there's no way I'm having any more.
Okay.
So who knows? Yeah, I mean, I can still teach, and even if someone else took over the business side of things, there's no reason why I can't continue teaching.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never say never with anything.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And kind of goes along with that whole philosophy of just make it up as you go.
Yeah. Funnel it, make it work. Yeah,
you
exactly.
just figure it out.
Yeah.
As someone who moved from being an actual performer to a teacher, who would you say your greatest influences were, your inspirations, the people that you've looked to and gone, yes?
Ooh, I mean, my dance teacher was very good. It allowing me to kind of be who I wanted to be with regards to teaching.
Yeah.
Performance-wise, I took things from all over the place. I used to be the kid that would get on the train and travel up to London for the day and take classes all day at Pineapple Dance Studios and just gather every single drop of influences I possibly could, even in styles that I didn't ever do, like hip hop. You know, I would just lap it all up. I loved it. That's where I would have lived if I could have. I remember teaching at college, and I was putting on Fame, the musical, and I had to choreograph the whole show. And I was like, oh, how am I gonna? So I got on the train and I drove up to. I went up to London and I got a ticket for Fame for £15. And I sat right up in the gods, could barely see the stage.
The nosebleeds.
Yeah, right up the top. And I looked down and I watched this show and it cost me £15. And then I got back on the train and went home and was like, I can do this. That was my inspiration. You know, just I kind of just a bit of a. I just do it. You know, like I'll just fumble my way. Yeah. usually it works. So yeah. Influence wise, probably my dance teacher. I mean, my mum was pretty amazing, and my dad.
Yes.
Dad was obviously, they're taxi drivers in the bank, which is what I am now to my children, so I understand.
Yes.
But yeah, probably my dance teacher, I'd say.
So with your influences and you know mum and dad being huge, your dance teacher, do you still keep in touch with the dance teacher?
Absolutely. Yeah, I absolutely do. I saw her back when I was back in the UK.
Just about to ask that.
Yeah. So I spent the day with her, and we didn't stop talking.
Does she still teach?
Yeah, still has a dance studio.
Amazing.
Massive one now.
Yeah.
Bigger than when I was there. Huge. She's got all teachers that teach for her now, but
right.
But yeah, she still does majority of the background work, and it's huge. It's amazing what she's doing. Massive influence, and she could relate to a lot of the stories I took back, and a lot of the information, and she could give me advice, and and it was actually,
I'm having these issues. Well, if you try this.
I know. We talked for a whole day. We sat in the pub and had a pub lunch and talked for about 4 hours, and then realised that we probably should leave.
Yes.
We could have talked for 10 more hours easily.
Oh, that's classic. So, that must be really interesting for her to hear how your journey's gone, and then your stories about your students, and then how their journey's gone as well. Because for her, she's probably like, right, well, this is... she in her head, she might have gone, well, I could see you doing this. And then, you've kind of ended up teaching what she may have seen, and then hearing your success stories as well. Yeah. Because there's ultimately, it all comes back to her. Yeah. Yeah. Because without her being the amazing teacher and your inspiration, you don't go off and have the career that you had and then transition into teaching. And then the legacy that you've been able to pass on as well. What do you think will be your legacy when you finally decide that enough is enough?
Do you know what? I've never really thought of that question, the legacy side of things, but I did think if I've inspired a dancer to continue dancing, if it's 1 term or 1 year or 10 years, then I've done my job. I have connections with children, like I said to you earlier, that are not just ex-dancers of mine, but become family. And they have a big part in my heart, a lot of them. And they know that. And I said to everybody, actually, I've multiple people that if, those kids phoned me and said, Holly, it's 12 o'clock midnight, but I need you. I will be there for them.
Yep.
And that's kind of where they sit within my family and me in the studio. And yeah, it's not just a business. It becomes more than a business.
Yeah.
You have a connection with those kids, some more than others, obviously.
Yes.
Depending on how much you see them and the parents and their influence on it too. But definitely a massive, massive part of your life. And yeah, kids come and go, but you don't forget them. So
No.
Yeah.
No. So I mean, essentially your legacy is your extended family.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah. And it's not all about dance. It's about the connection and some of them go on to dance, but some don't, and that's okay. I just love that they still call me if they need me, I'm still there if they need me. So, and they know that. So
that is very, very cool.
Yeah.
What an amazing feeling. What a great way to sort of go through life going, I have been able to reach out and touch these people's lives.
Yeah.
In one way or another, whether they continue their creative journey in dance or whether they follow a different creative path.
Absolutely, yeah.
When we sort of started this, the whole goal was to learn about people in general. And I remember having this conversation with Andrew quite early on, was, one of the questions we need to ask is, where did your creative endeavour start? Because not all people have kind of had one creative field the whole way. Some people have gone, I'll try this and that and this and a few other things, and then do some spirals, and then I'll end up at where they are at the moment. So the fact that your journey has been really linear is actually really exciting. And it may not feel like that way for you, because it's like, well, that's my life. But your life and your stories are absolutely fascinating. So, Holly, thank you so much for coming in and sitting down with us. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's been good.
It's lovely and refreshing. And we would, we'll certainly we'll talk about the event that's coming up this weekend as well. By the time this podcast comes out, it will have unfortunately passed, but we'll also talk about the big end of year event as well, because I think something like that, it's a wonderful celebration.
Yeah, and it's all community based, so it's all the kids, all the families are all part of this community. So whether there's anyone in it or anyone you don't know in it, they all live here in Whangarei or surrounding areas. So you're supporting the local area and the local businesses as well that go along with that local area. So, it's whether you know them or not, it's a really, really great, fun evening out for the whole family.
Supporting the arts in general.
Yeah, exactly that. And you would not be disappointed. You'd be shocked at how amazing some of these kids are. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. So you definitely have myself and my son coming. We'd love to be there. But
awesome.
Again, thank you so much for coming on. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Andrew.
Yeah, Mark. Again.
Hi. Holly.
Yep.
Man, she was so cool.
Yeah.
Just such a cool person. And in the intro, I said there was one part that I really, really liked. I couldn't laugh as loud as I wanted to, because I wanted to. She talks about having kids that she works with now that are like really, really young, and they're like preschoolers, like 2.5. And she said she started at 11, and she was a late starter.
Yeah. It was like, man, a lot of things like rugby. That's an early start for a lot of kids as well.
I know.
I didn't start playing rugby till 11, so I didn't consider myself a late starter.
I know.
Though,
I thought it was so funny, and it was one of those things where it's like, okay, 11's late.
Yeah, it's like Jedi's.
Yeah, exactly. And how she went there with her younger sister. Yeah. Because her younger sister would do it, and she just decided to tag along. What were some of the cool moments for you out of all of this?
I really liked her take on, when she was talking about, we don't do hip-hop, we don't do this, we don't do that, but she believes that there's a place everywhere, like they can bounce each other towards them, and then that allows them to specialize and get the most out of what they actually want as well, which I thought was really cool, a really cool take on it, because that further drives the community forward, as a whole. You have a whole bunch of people practicing the right things.
I also, and just to sort of piggyback on top of that comment, I like that she actually also named the hip hop crew as well, and actually almost gave them a shout out.
Yeah.
Which I thought was just super cool.
That's what I'm saying. Like, me being in hip hop music,
yes.
It can be very competitive, and you don't want to say names. So it's real cool to just see that, albeit in another discipline. That's what I envisioned when I started, Low Budget Brotherhood.
Yes.
And I started doing music videos for anyone and everyone. I didn't care if I had past beef with you or anything. It was just like, I just want to help collectively lift.
Yeah.
And that's what that does. So
for
me, that was powerful.
And you really, and by doing that, you really raise the whole genre or discipline.
Exactly. You raise the whole floor of the community.
Yeah, you do.
You give everyone that step up.
Floor, that's the one I was looking for. Good on you. So where can people find these podcasts?
I've got a bigger notebook this week.
Oh,
thank you, Mark.
You're welcome. Our budget's increased.
Yeah, we can now afford $5 A5 notebooks.
That's
not
it.
from there, no. No. So for our visuals, you can find us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, and that is at the Northland Artist Conversation. For audio, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. It's also at the Northland Artist Conversation. And if you're an artist in the region, or you're coming to the region, you feel like you have a story to share, be it your life story, or you just want to plug something, maybe, I don't know, hello at northlandartistconversation.co.nz is our email, so get them there.
Absolutely. And if you're wanting to support us a little bit more, we also have a Patreon account. Patreon is a way to give back to the podcast. We have two different tiers. We have the $5 tier, which we've called a cup of coffee. I think coffee because...
Yeah.
Most
obviously
artists,
it's around that bracket too.
It is, yeah. And that's just kind of a monthly thing. And then we also have another tier up, which we've affectionately called a coffee addict, and that's $20 a month. And with that, you get different perks as well that you don't normally get. Not a huge value, and when I was setting Patreon up, I tried to keep it as close to New Zealand dollars as possible, because most people, if they select it, it'll be in US dollars. So like $20 suddenly becomes $30, for example. So I picked it in Australian dollars. What that means is, like, when you do $20 a month, it's like about 22, 23. It's pretty close. So patreon.com // Northland Artist Conversation. Go there, have a wee look. I will admit I've been pretty slack with that. But we are going to be getting someone who knows a little bit more about that sort of stuff to kind of take it, because
that's wicked. Yeah, it's a massive undertaking. Like, I think we kind of almost underestimated the work that goes into it a little bit, but we're getting there.
So much background and admin work that has to get done as well. I will say though, I'm really impressed with the with yourself and the editors on just how quick we're able to turn around these podcasts now as well. Like, I think when we did Aki, who was our very first podcast, there's about 10 hours of editing.
Fun story about Aki.
Yes.
My son played her son's team at rugby this weekend.
Oh,
she was there right next to me.
Crazy. How cool was that? You guys caught up and said hi?
Yeah, we said hi for a bit. Yeah,
oh, that's awesome.
That was quite a funny little thing that happened.
And now we're down to editing with a record time of 2.5 hours.
Yeah, that's from start to finish. From cut to grading and all that as well.
From cut to final render.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. We want to hear from you, our audience. You can, as Andrew said, hit us up through our socials, absolutely. And if you're a business that would like to get involved with us as well, please don't hesitate to reach out. Again, hello at northlandartistconversation.co.nz. This is a wonderful venture that we've definitely gotten a lot of traction on and continue to grow. So, jump on board, get amongst it. What do you got planned for the week?
Oh, work, podcast.
Yeah,
more
true.
Work.
We've got we've got someone on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Wednesday night.
Should be an interesting one.
Yeah, it'll be another good one.
Another I think he has Canadian heritage, this guy.
I believe so.
Hint.
Really, really nice guy too. Yeah. I've met him a few times, and he you know what I can describe it is he radiates positivity.
Yeah, and change.
Yes, and change, definitely.
Especially environmentally.
Yeah, and what he does is very, very cool in terms of like his artistic output as well.
Yep.
So make sure you stick around for that. So on that high note, my name is Mark Kelly.
And I'm Andrew McKenzie.
Thank you very much for watching us on the Northland Artist Conversation. We will see you guys soon.